The middle of the 19th century saw Americans moving westward. The vast expanse of the North American continent matched their optimism. So also with Adventism, with its New England roots. The movement's energetic leader, James White, reflected the times, moving first to New York State, then a short time later to Michigan. Eventually the movement expanded worldwide. Today, Historic Adventist Village in BattleCreek, Michigan, brings to life 50 dynamic years in the history of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, from 1852 to 1902. BattleCreek, with a population of 1,000, was a small rural village in south-central Michigan when Joseph Bates, Adventism's apostle of the Sabbath, first visited the community in 1852. As a result of that visit, a peddler named David Hewitt and his wife Olive became the first Sabbath-keeping Adventists in BattleCreek. Soon, several others joined the Hewitts, making a small group who met weekly in the Hewitt home. In an authentic log cabin similar to the one in which the Hewitts originally lived, the story of BattleCreek's most honest man in town is told. It is little wonder that Adventism took root in BattleCreek, for the city has always been open to the people of differing viewpoints. Originally founded by Quakers, BattleCreek was an important stop on the Underground Railroad. Between 1840 and 1855, generous and caring town citizens helped an estimated 1,000 slaves to freedom. In 1859, as a resident of BattleCreek, Ellen White, Adventism's prophetic voice, admonished Sabbath keepers not to obey the country's fugitive slave law, which required that runaway slaves be returned to their masters. Today, the William J. Hardy exhibit showcases early African American Adventists. The display is located in the home of one of those former Underground Railroad travellers. In 1855, 4 Michigan Sabbath keepers invited James White to move the church's small printing operation from Rochester, New York, to BattleCreek. Neither the welcoming little community nor the young but expanding church would ever be the same again. A year after James and Ellen White arrived in BattleCreek, local Adventists helped the Whites build their own home on Wood Street. Their authentically restored house is now the oldest Adventist landmark in the city. The White family of 6, which included 4 sons, lived in it from 1856 to 1863. It was there that Ellen White first wrote out the Great Controversy vision, given to her in March 1858 in Ohio. That astounding vision depicted the ongoing cosmic struggle between Christ and his angels and Satan and his angels. Not only did it reveal in detail how sin began, and the central role that Christ's life and death played in resolving the sin problem, it also described God's ultimate solution to assure that sin will never rise again. Directly across the street from James and Ellen White's home stands the small cottage that was once the home of Deacon John White and his wife Betsy, the parents of James White. It was only after moving here during their retirement years that those 2 hardy individuals from Maine came to see the beauty and importance of observing the seventh-day Sabbath of the 4th commandment. Because so many Adventist firsts took place in BattleCreek, the city has often been called the cradle of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. It was here that the movement's pioneers took the first halting steps that resulted in church organization. Many of these actions took place in the original 1857 meeting house, which has been replicated in Historic Adventist Village. In 1859, the group adopted systematic benevolence, opening the way for the movement's few ordained ministers to be assured of financial support. On October 1, 1860, delegates chose the name Seventh-day Adventist and took the first steps towards incorporating the publishing work. The following year, the publishing house was legally incorporated. Also in 1861, the Michigan Conference, the fledgling church's first state conference, was organized, followed 2 years later by the organisation of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. On May the 21st, 1863, 20 delegates from 6 of the 7 state conferences then in existence met in BattleCreek to make the organisation official. At the time, the population of BattleCreek was about 3,500, approximately the same as the number of Seventh-day Adventists that then existed throughout the United States. About 2 weeks later, on Friday evening, June the 5th, 1863, in nearby Otsego, Michigan, Ellen White received a major vision on health. The consequences of that vision would revolutionize both the newly formed Seventh-day Adventist Church and the history of BattleCreek. Now, more than a century and a half later, scientific research has demonstrated that the Adventist lifestyle results in a longer average life expectancy and overall better health than that of the general population. In addition, Adventists operate a worldwide network of hospitals and clinics, successors to the once world-famous BattleCreek Sanitarium that had its beginnings in 1866 in a renovated house in BattleCreek. One byproduct of the Adventists' emphasis on health is the breakfast cereal industry, begun by health educator Dr. John Harvey Kellogg and his marketing genius younger brother, Will Keith Kellogg. The invention of flaked cereals by Dr. Kellogg while he was medical director of the SAN, as it was called, eventually led to BattleCreek's becoming known worldwide as the cereal capital of the world. Additionally, many of the doctor's health views were reflected in various types of exercise equipment that he invented or improved. Examples of his creativity are exhibited in the Dr. John Harvey Kellogg Discovery Center in the Village. Several types of his exercise equipment were used both in the White House in Washington, D.C., and on board the ill-fated Titanic. Modifications of some of the doctor's inventions can still be found in today's gymnasiums and exercise rooms around the world. Eventually, the BattleCreek Sanitarium, of which Dr. Kellogg was medical director for nearly 70 years, became world-renowned.